Hello and welcome to the next episode of our How-To series. My name is Daniel Valicotti, and today we'll be talking about simulation lifecycle management. Now, lifecycle management is not a new thing within the PLM environment. However, in this session, we will talk about how simulation objects and especially can be lifecycled on the 3D experience and what are the implications of lifecycling in general. Now you already learned a thing or two about the 3D experience data objects. And here again, you can see a short slide on the connections between CAD data, abstraction shape data, and finite element mesh, as well as simulation objects. And generally speaking, if you create a new set of data, they are of course in the lifecycle status in work, and they have the status version A1 within the revision. Now, of course, if you do changes within your CAD data or within your assembly, then what you want to do, respecting the single source of truth, is you don't want to duplicate the data and create new data sets. No, you want to take the original CAD data, revision it, do your changes, and then start from there, such that you can still respect the single source of truth and you can see how a product evolves within the relational explorer that we've seen before. While this is of course true for CAD data, same applies for a finite element simulation object. Meaning if you create an object for the simulation, you build up a model, you run a simulation, and you find that within your results, maybe you made false assumptions or something is not the way it should be, or maybe you find ideas on how to improve your product, then you don't want to do this on the original CAD data, but you maybe want to create a revision of the object, might be the CAD object or the finite element simulation object, or you want to do a branch. And now we go into the system and we can see how such revisions can be done and how the maturity of your data objects can be changed within the 3D experience. For that, we go back into the 3D experience platform and we will search for the simulation object called quadcopter. We'll find it here. Then we take the object and we open up the collaborative lifecycle application. Now you see that there are two icons, one of which can be used within the browser and one that can be used within the rich environment that we are currently working in. And we just click on the application and it opens up directly. And you can see down there are different icons now that appeared that all have to do with the lifecycle as well as the collaboration features connected to this respective part. Now, first thing you can check here is that this is a simulation object. It is in revision status A with a maturity status in work. We can change the maturity if we want to by clicking on the maturity icon. Then it loads up a small sub-menu where you then can change the maturity status of the simulation object, of the results, of the scenario, and so on, of the model. And you have different options. You can either freeze it, you can release it, or you can make it private. Just note that if you forward something in the maturity status, it's hard to get back. The other thing that we can do is, of course, using the revision tools. And there are a few options that you can use. First of all, you can check using this button revisions if there are other revisions of this object already existing. And you can see there's just one, which is the revision status A. Now, if you want to do a revision, there are different ways how you can do it. You can either do a revision within the current branch that you're working with. So think about an ideation process where you have a certain idea in mind and you create a product. And staying with the idea, you want to maybe update a product a little bit, then you might stay within the revision and the current branch. So you would just click here on your revision, and then it switches from revision status A to revision status B. Any other options that you have is you completely create a new branch that is still connected to the first branch, but you maybe change even the idea that you want to follow with the product, and then it might make sense to create a revision within a new branch. Then you develop the new idea that you had, and in the end, you can pull all those branches together with the new revision from. Now, this would be the way how you can do variations in your model, may it be the CAD model or your simulation model, without violating the single source of truth principle. Of course, if you create a new revision, you have to think about the maturity state of your old revisions. Maybe they get obsolete, so you have to adjust it within the maturity application. Another way how to deal with data is to duplicate the data. Now, duplication, you need to be careful with duplications, because if you duplicate a simulation object, for example, it creates a completely new object that has no connection whatsoever to the old objects. So you might lose the traceability on the way when you duplicate certain objects. So this is usually not the way how you want to work with your data. So please respect the single source of truth principle such that you can take advantage of the relational explorer and stay within your revisions and new branches. Okay, so much for that. I hope you got a good idea how simulation lifecycle management can be done using the collaborative lifecycle applications. Within the next episode, we are talking about simulation workflows, so stay tuned for that and see you soon.